just know that I'm not really good at this. I just got this. My student said, you need to get a graphics tablet. Well, I'd never heard of a graphics tablet, so I got a graphics tablet, right? Now I got to teach myself how to use darn graphics tablet. So I got the graphics tablet. Let me see if I can load this graphics tablet. Let's see. And then I got to figure out how to use it, but let me just okay, let me just see if I can do this. I'm using this pen. I don't want to use that. Let me see. Okay. So I just asked my students this question. Oh, can you see what I'm let me draw something so I can see if it no.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Can you see it?
Oh no, I don't see anything.
So now
I
how?
just see the words bold.
Oh, I need to I need to share it. Wait a minute. No. I need I need you to be able to see it. So now, share screen. Oh, so you got to allow me to share the screen, I think.
Let me see. Let's see, participants. More. I'm going to see if this does it. You're the host now, so you should be able to do it.
Okay, let's see if I can share. 0 people are following you. Stop presenting. Wait a minute. So let me share the screen. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, it's okay. I can't. Oh, I'm the host now, so I should be able to share the screen. Let's see. My template for global social control. Okay, and then do you see it? Laser timer.
No. I thought making you the host would work.
Okay, well, it's not that important. Let me see if I go back to, let's see if I can do comment frame.
I mean, in the dock, I mean, while I have these videos in the bay, I can just add whatever images over whatever you want me to.
Right. Okay. So, here's a shape. Okay, circle. I want it small, small, small. This is not what I want. Let's see. Shape. Circle. Okay, so anyway, let me see. 1. Next time I'm gonna when I have some free time, which I never have, I'm going to yeah. I'm gonna do this so that it looks professional.
Just email me any images you want over this segment and then it'll be done.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically you have well, I'll take the time and I'll do it better. But basically, now why can't, okay, what can I do? Page 1 of 1. I want to sharing screen. Do you want to continue? No. I want to share the whiteboard. Okay. Let's see, share. Oh, copy link. I see. So I have to give you a link. And this isn't really good enough to
I mean, you can send me a link and I can share the screen to it.
well, let's see. Share. Copy link. And then let's do, oh, chat. So I just sent that. But see, it's not really good enough. But if you could share it, then we could talk about your question, because I do want to get to your question. So I can give an answer. I don't want to close. You are collaborating on this whiteboard.
Okay.
Ah,
I can see the image. Let me see what I can do. Okay, maybe if you can you stop the share for a bit? And I'll put that in the share screen.
well, I'm not sharing unless I know I don't, I'm collaborating. Okay, I'm going to close the whiteboard.
Okay, there you go. So
Okay.
is it still there? Okay, share screen. Huh. I know what to do here. I
So now where's the little drawing that was there? It was very immature, but
yeah, it's like I see it in here. I see the circle with a bunch of circles around it with the black
yeah.
on the side.
Okay, so let's go. Let's not waste the time.
Yeah, let's not
Here.
waste
I will spend some time learning how to use this graphics tablet, and I will send a better version to you. But but what I want to say is this is exactly. I just spent the last week grading exam papers for my students. One of the questions that I asked one of the sections of my class, now we're using this my template for global social control. This is one of the things that I've asked them to look at. And I've asked them to look at who sits at the table. And in this particular exam, the reading that I gave the students to read and then respond to was from, I think, the Heritage Foundation. There's some foundation that is predicting the breakup of the United States. And they've got, I believe, 5 different states that the United States could become. There are some that say it will break up into even more than 5. I think it's Heritage, but I'm not sure. I can't remember now. And so the question that I asked my students to contemplate, I mean, there were several questions that I asked them, but the one that I think is particularly pertinent here is, do you think the world would be better off if those sitting around the table of global social control are successful in destroying the United States of America? That's what I want my students to contemplate, because, I mean, I have that question myself. So there was a time in the history of the United States where there were people sitting around a table, right? And they were deciding, well, the United States is going to become too strong, and so therefore we want to break them up now, right? And it was Abraham Lincoln who could have gone along with it, but said, no, I'm not going to go along with breaking up the United States. Who were those people sitting around the table then? And I'm wondering who the people are now sitting around the table whose objective is the same as the people who were sitting around the table then. Is there anything in common with those? Oh my gosh, now you got my extremely imperfect. But okay, so now I'm wondering if I can go ahead.
Oh, it's a screenshot. I can just
Oh, it's a screenshot. Oh,
I can
okay.
screenshot things that you draw, and then I can show it for future reference. That's how we can do it. Screenshot.
Okay.
Tell me an image is
okay,
there.
yeah, until I master this tablet thing, which of course you can see I haven't mastered it at all. This is only the second time I've tried to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, let's look at 1860s United States and 2024 United States. Is there a relationship with these people sitting around the table who were trying to destroy the United States then and who might be trying to destroy the United States as we know it now? I think there might be. I don't know the answer to the question, but I think there might be. And just as they were thwarted in one aspect, because they were thwarted in one way, and then they came back and said, okay, well, if we can't break you up, we'll just own you. And then that's how we got the Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Oh, yes, that's definitely an aspect for sure. Oh, wow.
So I'm wondering, are we and the rest of the world better off if those people win? Or are we and the rest of the world worse off if those people win?
I think it depends on how much of the pizza they get. Now,
right now they have it all.
I know. And they intend to keep it that way.
And they intend to keep it that way. So if they can have the whole pizza by making 8 slices. 8 slices will give them the whole pizza. And so is it easier for us to maintain a slice, or is it easier for us to maintain the whole? I don't know the answer to the question, but this is what I'm thinking. And I'm asking my students to think, is it ever advantageous for us to concede to the people sitting around the table?
I think you take a slice at a time. You deal with the cards that you're dealt, and you do your damnedest.
But see, what they've done is they divided the United States into 50 pieces, right? So let's just look at how the Israeli lobby came from nowhere to everywhere. And in Georgia now, they had this requirement for you to sign a loyalty oath in Georgia, and then Martin, the journalist, Abby, no, what was
Yeah,
her name?
Abby,
What's her name?
Abby, or wait, I mean, are you talking about Abby Martin?
The journalist, right?
Yeah.
Who filed the lawsuit against the state because she was offered an opportunity to come speak, and they said no, you can't come and speak until or you can't get paid. You can come and speak, but you won't get paid until you sign this loyalty oath to Israel. This is state of Georgia now. Abby Martin, that's right. And she said, no, I'm not going to sign that. That what they did not want was for her to set what they wanted, those people sitting around the table who have now divided the United States into 50 slices, and they are eating every slice. It's like,
when I
so
refer
it's
to
like,
slices,
I don't know. I'm thinking with you out loud. I really, really don't have an answer, but I know that my knee-jerk response is that I never want to be in alignment with those people at the table.
oh yeah, for sure. When I refer to these slices, like these 50 slices, they're they're not, I mean, they're hardly even slices. They're held together by that cheese crust filling called the federal government.
Uh-huh.
And you see, that's kind of what I'm speaking about when I say that, I want to I want to remove the federal government from the equation, is what I mean by making, by localizing every governance, and having the people actually govern themselves instead of this federal system.
I know, but you know what? That still doesn't get us out of the fact that 26 people sitting around this table of global social control all 50 slices of pizza.
What's your prediction then? What's your prediction? Just your educated guess on what would happen if Republican dominant areas and Democrat dominant areas, because those are unfortunately, the chief card players at the moment. Republican dominant areas and Democrat dominant areas forming their own federal governments. Like what happened way back when, but in a modern context. What would you foresee as issues in that equation?
If we don't get rid of the 26 people around the table, it really doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
We need to eliminate the table. And we need to eliminate the 26 people around that table. And this, of course, is where I come to the idea of direct democracy. Because it's a whole lot easier to control 535 plus whatever the number is for each state than it is to control 300 million. So but it's what I'm grappling with now. And so what do we really mean when we say whatever it is? What do we mean? We're going to take our country back. That's what people are saying now. We're going to take our country back. Well, how are you going to get it back from the 26 people sitting around the table? How are you going to get it?
Mm-hmm.
And if no one is in some room somewhere unpublicized discussing that issue, and I can guarantee you that the people sitting around the table, the 26 people sitting around the table, they are in a back room and they are contemplating ways in which we might come up with strategies to overthrow them, and then they will preempt our strategy because they've gamed it and they've thought it out. So we got to do that, and we got to figure out a new way of fighting, and we got to, there's so many things, but you have been able to traverse the generations, and that is really remarkable. You, I think, are a remarkable young man. And so you have been able to traverse generations, racial divides, sexual divides. I mean, every kind of way they can think to divide, political spectrum divides. I mean, they got so many different ways to divide us, right? Because that has become a science unto itself as well. But if we don't figure this one out, then they are going to win. And you're right to refer to Dr. Shiva as a systems man, because what we're discussing is a system that has been put in place and that has almost become self-perpetuating, like the injections that they want to give people will be self-replicating. So, it's like a self-perpetuating system of complete oppression. And it's not that we can't fight it, because in the past, individuals like me and you were able to fight and win and beat them back. But they've always had a response to that. So now how can we not allow first we have to create the movement. I think Dr. Shiva is doing a good job of that. Then we have to make sure that our movement does not become co-opted. And that means that every one of us has to become a guardian of our movement. So anyway, that's the only, I haven't gotten very much further than that. That's as far as I've gotten.
You've brought, in all that, you've brought up a lot of things that I most certainly need to meditate on.
Yeah, we all need to do some meditation, it's true. We need to think.
And so I've got to ask, so you have Iran schooling Israel on the imperative of not murdering civilians, and you'll have a bunch of Ziocons touting that, oh, what an ineffective strike, even though they took out the F-35s that did the attack on the consulate in the first place. I mean, it was a reciprocal strike, in my view. It's kind of a rhetorical question in a way, but will Israel take some notes or continue on this genocidal belligerence? Because Iran has proven you can strike military targets and not harm civilians at the same time. That's my interpretation of events, and it's people want to say that Iran is genocidal towards Jews when it's the second most Jewish populous nation in the Middle East. And
that's right.
Israel's only the first most populous because, well, European migration and forced migration. You had a bunch of Zionist terrorism back in the day that actually forced Jewish people in other Middle Eastern territories to make their way down to occupied Palestine. And so yeah, it was more of a rhetorical question. I'm sure they're going to continue this genocidal belligerence.
They are. They are.
I could not believe there was so much fear that Iran was going to incur civilian damage. I did not believe that. I did not think that was going to happen for a second. And if it did happen, I wasn't going to, I mean, all my emotions go primarily to the Gazans who have been oppressed for so
Yeah.
long. I consider Alaska flood not necessarily, something that I would support, but it's not something I condemn either. I can see clearly you had the slave rebellions back in the day
Mm-hmm.
in the States, and there was much extreme violence, way more
Yeah.
violent than anything beheld on October 7th. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't condemn that violence. It's a reaction to oppression, and there is under no circumstances can I condemn it, as Pierce Morgan will often, ask his guests, "Oh, do you condemn Hamas?" I'll condemn Hamas for accepting Qatari funds from Israel.
Yeah, right, right, right.
And that's as far as I'll go with it.
But
It
William, here's my dilemma. As much as I am discussing the need for a revolution, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, a revolution of values.
yeah.
Um, we need this revolution. And as I teach my students, the revolutions can be violent, but they don't have to be. And so I have to be honest with you. I have to be honest with myself, because I would like to think that I would like to think that I'm a little bit harder than this, but I don't like to see anybody die. I don't like to see any soldiers killed. And that's really on both sides. I just look at it as such a waste of human talent. But I know that there are other wastes of human talent that are taking place, and that people have to resist tyranny, and they have to resist in the way that they best can. And I get that. I absolutely get that. But still, I'm on those channels on Telegram, and so I see those dead soldiers, and you know, I stop. I'm sick and tired of seeing, young people your age, and they're now martyrs. I'm sick and tired of seeing soldiers on the other side who, it, it it seems that we ought to have reached such a higher plane of living, or a higher plane of being, that we could resolve our differences in ways that don't include that. And there's a song that I'm going to find it. I have to find it. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to share it with you, and hopefully you'll share it with your audience. The name of the song is "Who Is Your God?" And the singer is an Israeli Jew. The musicians are Muslims. And they have made together a beautiful, beautiful statement about how can you do the things you do and still then pray to a God. So the question is, who is your God? It's such a beautiful song. And, I'm not religious, despite having gone to Catholic school, almost went to Notre Dame. But I mean, I'm not really religious in that sense. And I'm certainly not a scholar of religions. But I do think that there's some spirituality. We all know right and wrong, okay? And if we all know right and wrong, then we know when we're doing wrong. No matter what the political objective is, no matter how much money you want to put in the bank, no matter, by the end of the day, it's wrong. And there's this thing called kol nidre. So if you're Jew and you lie to somebody and you know that you are lying to them, every year, this kol nidre allows you to say, I lied. I knew I was lying, but it's okay because my religion says so. Now, that means that, what kind of values are those? And then, so I think, so I just have started looking at, a whole lot of stuff, trying to answer my questions, sort of fundamental questions about how I want to live my life. And I want to be in alignment with my values. And I want my values to actually make the world a better place while not harming me and not harming anyone else. That's kind of like my sole objective of being. Anyway, I don't know. There's not very much else to say. I don't know. There's lots I don't know.
And there's so much more out there to know. And
that's right.
And so I'll just we'll just end this segment here. So is there anything else other than, as you've mentioned, GMOs, anti-GMOs, anti-COVID-19 84, anti-Zionist? Is there anything else that you've been able to see so far from Dr. Shiva that just pops out or...
I like, well, you see, I've only, some of his videos you need to watch several times because, I multitask. I always have some exams to grade. I always have some papers to grade. I always have some homework to grade. So a lot of time I am multitasking, but he's got a theory of the swarm and I love it because that's my actual experience. That's what happens. And we've got to defeat the swarm. Now, if you want to look at what just happened, how did Iran defeat or the resistance? All of the is not just Iran. How did the resistance defeat Patriot, Arrow, and Iron Dome? They defeated it with the swarm. So you've got those Garon drones that cost what, $1,000 a piece? And you swarm them. And they occupy all of those missile defense systems. And then you can direct your more authoritative, more expensive arsenal into certain places where you know that you've already occupied Iron Dome, Patriot, and Arrow. So the swarm is maybe their weapon, but it can be our weapon too. So I would like to know a little bit more about the swarm because I have to admit I was multitasking when Dr. Shiva was talking about the swarm, but I find it.
He has an entire website dedicated to the topic. If you want to write it down, shatterthestorm.com. Maybe you'll memorize it. Shatterthestorm.com.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I definitely want to do that. I'll go there and I will look at more. I hope he's got some more videos.
So, so hopefully sometime in the future we can get wires. Maybe you'll be back in the States before the election and time zones will be less hindrance.
That's right.
What we got
I would love to have the opportunity to defy all of the time zone issues and actually sit down with Dr. Shiva and have a significant and meaningful conversation about all of the issues that he has brought forward to this day.
Okay, so that concludes this segment. Thank you everybody for watching.
Bye-bye.